Hello YouTube, today at powerjackrepair.org we got an Asus UX305c. That's the replacement connector right here. And that's the connector that the client asked us to replace. My only concern is it has nothing to do with the connector because this is not something that we get here every single day. Let me figure out what the focus shows. Alright, so let me show you. This is the connector right here. On a close-up picture, that's how it looks like. That's the replacement connector right here. Now, the situation is that if this guy is not broken, and the only way to find out if it's broken or not is to remove it from the motherboard, sometimes the rear leg right there, this return leg right there, is broken right inside of the connection here. But sometimes it's not. So what I was trying to show you is this leg right here could be broken right there. Could be not, go figure. Another thing is, it seems like there is no trace. This is the positive trace right here. And there is really nothing that it's going to here. And the closest positive connection is right here. This is the positive connection. But the trace is here. So it might be from opening and closing the screen, that the trace that goes from here to here, somewhere inside the motherboard, it's not here on the surface anywhere, that trace might be damaged. And maybe we need to run the wire from here to here. Now, but the first thing we need to do is to remove this guy and see if this is if this pin right there is broken or not. If it's not broken, we probably need to run the wire from here to here. And yeah, so let me show you how to remove this guy. By the way, to take the laptop apart, you need to unscrew this screw and a screw right here. It's hidden under those rubber pads here and here. Those two rubber pads you don't have to take off, but those two rubber pads you do need to take off. Alright, so the board is going to be exposed to a lot of heat. So I just want to make sure that this connection here not going to be exposed to any heat right here. And there is really nothing to insulate here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of Captain tape right there. So the goal is to add some flux to those connections and add some solder and use the hot air to drop this guy from the motherboard. And we're just gonna put a little bit more insulation right here. All right, insulation right here. Good job. All right, let me show you how to remove it. Alrighty, my friends. So we're gonna put some flux on here. All right. Some flux there. Let's position the hot air right on top of this guy. Okay. And let's add some fresh solder. Okay, so all right, so let's add some hot air. Let's add some fresh solder. The new solder gonna mix with the old solder. Yep, all right, so we're mixing the new solder with the old solder. And the mix gonna allow the melting temperature to come down a bit. Once the melting temperature comes down, we're gonna be able to just pop this guy right out. All right. Okay, let's go. Alrighty. Alrighty. Alright, so what I'm gonna do next, I'm just gonna increase the hot air temperature. And pop this guy right out. The higher temperature will allow the solder to remain in liquid form much longer. Alright, so you see it's kind of trying to come out already, and it came out right there. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to drop the temperature of the hot air, because we don't want anything else to melt on the motherboard. And next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the desoldering wick a bit. The desoldering wick should be right, the ring should be below. Alright, so what we do is we're just gonna suck all of the solder from the motherboard, and it's not coming out as well as I expected. I was hoping it's gonna be coming out much easier. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bump up the temperature a bit more so that the solder would flow a lot easier. Alright, so once I bumped up the temperature a bit more, the solder flows much easier, and it comes down. On my end, it's about 350 degrees Celsius. And everything comes out. I don't want to overdo on the temperature, it's gonna melt the motherboard. So instead of bumping up all the way to like 450 degrees, I'm just slowly roasting it. Yeah, again, I wonder if the problem is the connector or the inside of the board. That's a really good question. Or maybe something else on the motherboard. Could be one of the stuff that's connected to the motherboard. Again, not a jack that I see here every single day. Far not the right, I mean, not something I see here every day at all. All right. All right, good job, and good job. Excellent. All right. We are done with the hot air. This is the old connector. Let's inspect the old connector. And the rear leg of the old connector looks totally solid to me. So my guess, it's not the jack. It's probably a connection inside the board. It's not the Alright, so that's the old connector right here. Right there, that's the new connector here. Looks identical. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some flux. Put the new connector in place. Alright. Flip this guy over. Like that. And let's solder this guy up. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. All right, so my concern is that the positive connection is not making contact with the here, like that. That's all right. So what I want to do in the back, I wanna do something like that. Add more flux and solder the rear pin from the top side as well as the bottom side. So I just shove my soldering iron inside, and we're gonna do something like that here. Add something like that here. Like that, like that. Good job. How about stuff right here? Right there. Okay. Let's do a little bit more on this side. Excellent. So I soldered the connector from both sides. And hopefully the microphone nowadays works much better because I redid the way how the exhaust works nowadays from, so the exhaust does not interfere as much. Fume exhaust doesn't interfere as much. All right, so here. Yeah, it's hard to say if the inside of the yeah. What should I do here? Now, there is no way to run the positive from this end to here. So I guess the only way to run it is from here, around like that, and into right here. You see that trace, the connection between this trace and that guy is hidden. So there is really nothing that I can. So it has to be a physical wire from here to here, and I need to see how it's positioned on the motherboard. Basically, do I have the room here to put a wire like that or a wire like that? So I will need to go back and see how it sits in the board itself. So I could solder the wire directly into the rear pin right here, and run it like that and down to here. And that way I'm guaranteed a solid connection through those resistors, through those diodes right here. The capacitors should be fine. And those lights should come up once I test it. Yeah, because the jack itself wasn't really an issue. I don't think it's an issue because the connection here doesn't seem to be burnt in any way. This pin is not broken in any way. The jack itself doesn't look, the pin inside doesn't look broken. The connection was pretty solid, so I don't think the jack was the issue. I think something with the board, something here with the connection here, even though it's probably not the problem because, yeah, I think it's because the hinge is sitting here someplace that causes the bend of some sort, and that's the reason why we get power interruptions from here to here. Something somewhere the power goes missing. So let me go check and see how it looks like when it comes to the layout of the casing. Alrighty, so I added this wire right here, soldered it directly into the pin in the back and directly to the component right here, and hopefully it's gonna fit the casing. The casing is kind of hard to fit anything in, but I will try and see how it's gonna work. All right, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to fit this guy. Power up a little bit more lights. Something like that. Let's see. All right. will we be able to put this guy right there or not? No, probably not, because there's a keyboard right here that kind of in the way of the whole thing. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. Come on. No, probably not. All right, the idea was good, but the execution isn't the best. It should be like going right here along this ledge right here, and I kind of bent the whole thing, and I'm not even sure if it's gonna even go through in here. Let's see. No, I think it's useless. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the problem. I think it needs to run the wire. It needs to have a wire run right here to right there. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I can force it all I want. Probably needs to be a bit more better execution from like here to here. Let me first see if I could desolder it here and then maybe run it and see if it's gonna fit in there. If it's not gonna fit in there, it's useless. All right, so I straightened it up a little bit. Hopefully it's gonna be fitting in between the keyboard ledge and the hinge for the screen. Let's see. Nope, still something not right. I was hoping it would be much easier to be sitting in there, but it's not. Well, don't know where the problem is at, but I guess I need to remove this cable and hope that the jack solution was the only problem. All right, so I removed the cable. Let's drop it in there one more time and see if it's gonna be sitting. Well, cable or no cable, something isn't sitting the way it's supposed to be sitting. And I don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's not fitting into the hole the way it's supposed to fit, but the whole thing kind of up in the air. I wonder if this piece right here interferes with the casing right there, and if I need to maybe clean up that, maybe shave a little bit on the connector side to make it fit in there perfectly. Yeah, I wonder if I shave it a little bit off right there, maybe it's gonna fit better. All right, so I took some plastic off of the rear of the jack. Let's see if that's the problem of not fitting in. Come on. Nope, we're still not fitting. Oh, maybe connector here, maybe that connector. I don't get a perfect fit. I mean, that thing is still up in the air for some reason. It should be laying down in there nice and flat. Let's see. Should be sitting there nice and flat, but no. I don't know. What else I need to shave? It's not sitting in flat against the, you see, there is still some wobble left. I was thinking it's the cable that I added. I even shave off the rear of the connector here. And I honestly don't see what causes the whole thing. Maybe I should shave a little bit right there on that side here. Here we got an old jack. Let's see how it was sitting in there. It was supposed to sit like that. Ah, I see. Okay. So maybe it's not the sides, maybe it's the front ledges that don't wanna bend as well. This side here, the fronts are looking clean. Maybe if I just trim a little bit right here. Right there. Yeah, I mean, I see it's nice and flush here by sitting like that. So quite honestly, let's do a little bit more shaving right here as well. Okay. Now we got all the stuff shaved off. Let's see if the problem was with Well, it's much better, but I don't see. Well, maybe it's perfect now. Maybe it's okay. Still, I would prefer it to be sitting much better in there, but it's not sitting the way I like it. So what I'm gonna do, I will put some hot air on top of that, and we'll be pressing this in so that maybe the jacks are exactly the same, and they're totally in there. There is really nothing that still doesn't want to sit well. Maybe it's this guy right here that needs to be slid in somehow, or that one. Strange. Yeah, really strange. Should be sitting there just fine. But nope, it doesn't. Here. Alright, so yeah, let me reflow the whole solder. Maybe it's gonna settle down even better, but I mean, it's perfectly straight in there. I don't see, I mean, I'm looking at it at the line, looks perfectly straight. Alright, so I did reflow everything. I mean, it's still as straight as it used to be. Maybe, just maybe, it's gonna settle in better this time around. No, still something doesn't sit well. I mean, if I force it, it sits well, but it's not supposed to be like that. Why? Why is it so... I mean, everything aligns here just fine, right? But it should be resting there. Ah, you know what? The top casing might be pushing on it downwards. But that's probably the reason why the whole connection doesn't work, because there is a casing on top pushing down on this board, and the inside trace probably doesn't function because of that. Well, anyways, this is what I can do right now, right here. And let's put it all back together and see if it's gonna work. All right. All right, so let's assemble it back and see if the battery gonna be charging, or it still needs that wire to run from the rear pin to the nearby component. Maybe I should get a slightly thinner wire someplace. I mean, I got a whole bunch of wires, but I would say I need to get like some sort of a ribbon cable like this one. Let's start here. Let's start right there, like that. Okay. And let's do okay, something like that. Let's connect it here. And the rest of it is downstairs at the disassembly place. I mean, the screws and everything else. But I'll be back once I put it all back together. Let me get this guy guided in here. Let's see which way is the right way. Okay. And yeah, like that. But I'm more than certain, because I don't get this laptop here every single day, I'm more than certain it's here because of that bending. That's the reason why the current is gonna go through. But I will not know unless I put it all back together. Alrighty, so we got the battery charge light on right here. We plugged it in. Again, should fire up without that little tiny cable. And I rotate it all I want. One thing is, make sure that you get a click. When you put this guy in there, you should get a click. Like that, click. I'm not sure if you heard it here. Okay, so that click is usually means that everything should work fine. And if you don't get that click, that's probably might be your jack issue, but system does work, fires up, works fine. Here, hold on. Right there. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.